and you are listening to the Surviving Maine podcast. Today, I'm speaking with the player voted out in the 11th episode of Surviving Maine 2019, so make sure you've watched that before you continue listening to this. I want to start us off with some other people's thoughts on this player's game, so let's hear from Liza first.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear that she, is a Marine and that she has a lot of experiences, living in the woods, I guess, and, on that survival aspect. And, she kind of blew me away as far as my expectations. After her casting and all of that, I didn't expect who Jess is. I expected her to be much more, quiet, not so physical. I expected her to go out very early. Even meeting her first, I expected her to be one of the first ones gone anyway. But she, kicked ass strategically, socially, and definitely in challenges.
And Liza wasn't the only one to underestimate Jess's game. Here is what her fellow tribe mate Tricky had to say.
I kind of thought Jess was there for the experience. I didn't peg her too much as a super fan. She just seemed really out there for the experience, and I respected that. I thought that was very brave of her. I mean, God knows I wouldn't do anything like that.
I mean, he's definitely right that Jess is not a super fan, but she really held her own out there, I think. Here's what Tony had to say about Jess.
Jessica's gameplay is amazing. I call her the idol queen.
Idol queen indeed. Okay, so now here's my interview with Jess. I want to just say this was well before I saw any footage, so I didn't give Jess as much credit as she deserves for being a strategic player either. Something else that we talk about in this interview, Jess has a brilliant idea for a twist for Surviving Maine that I think we will definitely be seeing on season 3. So enjoy this interview with the 4th member of the jury, Jess.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me about your experience.
No problem.
So I'll start you off with, how did you end up on Surviving Maine in the first place?
So my mom had seen the Facebook messages about it, and she kept sending them to me and telling me I had to apply because we used to watch it a lot when I was younger. So okay. I filled out an application because my mom had sent it to me.
So it was peer pressure. It was mom pressure.
Slightly mom pressure. It was like she kept sending it to me every week. So I was like, okay, I'll do it.
What made her think you would be good at it?
I think it's because we watched it a lot when I was younger. Whenever I was home, I always watched Survivor with her. So she just thought it was something that I would love to do. And I like the games.
Okay. Yeah, you were one of the most physical players. Do you think that's because of your Marine background, or do you think you joined the Marines because you were already athletic?
I think I joined because I was already athletic. I like sports and stuff in school. I just like games. I think they're fun. I like the competition.
Okay. So you were more of a competition beast than maybe a social and strategy. Yeah.
I don't really like the whole lying part. That part I wasn't good at. I pretty much didn't lie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Good for you. Let's go back and tell me about some of your first impressions of your tribe mates.
Let me think. I'm trying to think back. So my first impressions were that we weren't like a physically strong team, but everyone was really social. So that almost made it like kind of harder because it felt like everyone was going to be out and playing a social game, but we didn't stand too much with like the physical challenges. But everyone seemed pretty like intelligent too. But it definitely felt like it was going to be like a social game.
So did that make you feel a little intimidated? You seemed more quiet than others on your tribe.
Yeah, I think so because for me it was like I like to socialize, but I don't like the whole deceiving part of Survivor.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like I would have much more wanted to focus on like the games and stuff. But it was good. Like everyone talked and hung out and stuff. But a lot of the times, it was just talking and not too much strategy. It was really hard to do strategy when you were always around everybody. It was hard to sneak off.
Yeah. But you were able to, right? When you were setting up your camp, I know Nick said he was close with you.
Yeah, so a lot of times people were able to sneak off when we would like collect firewood or different stuff like that. So we were able to talk to people then, and then at night, if you went to like the restroom, you were able to go with somebody.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Some of the few times you'd be able to actually like get to talk to somebody.
Yeah. So how much of that time did you spend trying to talk strategy, or did you let people come to you?
I think they kind of came to me before I even had like a chance to go to someone. Like I had planned to, but they came to me like in the beginning.
And who was it that came to you?
It was mostly Nick and Jazzy that had come at first, and Cameron and Brandon.
Okay, so that's interesting because Nick was like, Nick was targeting Jasmine, right? And somehow she found out and was targeting Nick then. But I guess that was a little bit later. So how did you navigate those relationships? Did you realize there was some tension there?
I did, but so in the beginning, it's like they all came to me kind of like together during one of the games that we were doing with the rope and saying like, okay, we're going to be 6. And then I heard everyone was going like a little bit after like Jazzy and then after here, and they were like changing votes so much. It was really hard to tell like what was going on, but you could tell like the 6 wasn't going to hold strong very long. And then Nick got voted out, and I didn't realize that was going to happen right off. So I always felt like I kind of had my back on the wall, like the whole game.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So first, when you say the 6, is that you, Nick, Cameron, Brandon, Jasmine? Who's the 6th?
I think it was Sarah.
Sarah. Okay, and that didn't work out at all, did it?
No, it didn't. They mentioned it once, and it was like fell through as soon as they mentioned it, basically.
Yeah. So, like that first night, you guys had won. The other tribe was going to tribal council, and everyone I was hearing a lot that it was Tony was the name being thrown around as possibly the first person out. And then what ended up happening was all this crazy scrambling, all these, like everyone's name being thrown out, and Nick ends up going home. And so this was a blindside to you as well?
Yes, so I guess what happened as far as I gathered is everyone was talking about Tony, and then Patrick started talking about Cameron and voting Cameron out, and that upset Nick a lot, and so he started throwing out, like, doing Patrick and then doing other people, and that was kind of, like, upsetting everybody because they thought that we were all on the same page, and then we weren't, and so in a way, Nick was, like, trying to protect Cameron, but it made everyone mad and made it seem like he was really trying to run it too much, like he was trying to run everybody's votes. So they kind of decided when I was doing like a confessional,
oh no,
to switch the vote on him because he was trying to run it too much. And then, and then that's when I was like, I don't know, that's where it got all confusing.
Yeah. So, okay. So did you have anything to say about Nick? He had great things to say about you. Do you want to say anything about him?
I liked him. I wish he would have played longer. I probably would have preferred to play with him the most, I think.
Why?
He just, I don't know, he had good character. He seemed really happy to be there. He seemed like a competitor, but he also was pretty straightforward with his plans, and I felt like he was pretty honest when he like tried to start the alliance. It just kind of fell through on him.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys then, after Nick goes, you lose the next competition as well.
Yes.
I don't remember what comp that was. Do you remember? It's been so long now.
No, I know, it's been a while.
But Tricky gets voted out at that one. Were you in on that?
If I remember, yes. Basically the same thing because he was talking about going after Cameron and everyone else was pretty with Cameron. So it was kind of easy that was what was going to happen the first time. It was just that Nick had stood up so much that it bothered everybody. So it was like they were able to go back to what their last vote was.
So you had been told that it. Did you vote for Tricky in that first tribal
did.
council? You did. Okay, so you had been told it was going to be Patrick, and then it wasn't, and it was your best ally, and then the next vote, everyone's saying, okay, well this time it'll be Patrick.
Yeah.
But you believe them this time.
I don't think I ever believed him, but I was like, all you could do.
Yeah, you just had to hope and pray, and you're lucky that they were not lying that time.
Yeah.
So how did you feel at that point? Because now you have your best ally is out. You don't know whether you can trust anybody. What was going through your head at that time?
So I think I was pretty forward where like I thought like Jazzy had to go the most because she was definitely going to run the game, and I felt like I was pretty forward about like trying to get her out too. So like at that point it was going to really lie between like she was either going to try to turn on me, I felt, or like I don't know, it was like this weird thing where we were like kind of working together but definitely had plans to get each other out. But I felt like she was really good at the social game and really good with hanging out with all the girls, that like it definitely seemed like she always had all the numbers. So at that point it was just trying not to get voted off by being stronger in a way. And then going to the other tribe really messed it up.
Yeah, so that's what happens for you next, because the Skitter tribe, they have someone quit, and then there's the tribe swap.
Yeah.
So you end up on the purple tribe. I don't remember what it was called.
What was that? I don't remember either.
Oh, well. So you end up, Katie picks you
Yeah.
on that purple tribe, and it's you, Katie, Justin, and John. So you're the only original Lombard on that tribe.
Yes.
How did you feel?
Well,
Just
I
off the bat.
asked them about it,
Yeah.
and they told me that they chose me specifically to vote me out. So I knew
That's
there
so
really
messed
wasn't
up.
much. They're like, look, I'm going to be forward with you. It was between you and Cameron. I think Cameron got chose already. They're like, but our goal is to get one of the strong ones out, so we chose you.
Oh, wow.
And
Were you at least flattered that they thought you were one of the strong ones?
I guess so, but it didn't help me at all. Because one thing was that while I was kind of with them waiting to get voted out, everyone else was able to strategize with our like old team. So when I did emerge from that team, everyone got to talk like a whole night and plan together where I wasn't included. And then because Justin was another Marine, they thought I had something with him when I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I was basically just trying to hold on, but everyone else had like a good time to bond and plan.
Right. Yeah, so you were at a big disadvantage there.
Yeah.
And so, but something crazy happens.
Yeah.
Tell us about the crazy thing.
So just before the team like merged, I found an idol. So I already had it by the time we lost, and I got put on this tribe. And then
Wait. You had it before Tricky got voted out, or you had it just right
No.
before the swap?
Right before the swap.
Okay.
I found it right before the swap.
Wow.
So it was in my bag, and then we swapped.
Okay, and you found it in the porta potty, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I literally never looked for it. I was like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So then we swapped, and it was pretty clear there wasn't going to be any, I don't know, talking with them. They're like, "Look, we totally took you on our team to vote you out, and that's kind of it. So sorry." And they were nice, everything, but they were just really forward. So there was really no like talking to them or strategizing about keeping me.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean,
yeah.
So you must have felt pretty secure in one way because you had that idol.
Yeah, but then I also knew if we lost one more time, it was going to be my vote again. So I basically just kind of sat and listened and realized, Katie, right? Mm-hmm. That she was basically like really in charge of everything, and that everyone was trying to figure out and like even trying to come to her when they swapped to other teams to talk to her about what they should do. So when it came to voting, I decided not to let them know and just try to vote her out.
Okay, so your strategy in being the vote against Katie was because you knew that she was like the one in charge of the original Skitter tribe.
Yeah, it seemed like it was really like her and Toby, but since she was the one there, it felt like the best plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so the second one was Justin was the only one who was slightly considering to vote John out, while John had absolutely no intentions to go against Justin whatsoever.
Okay.
So I basically threw a vote for John. It was like maybe, just maybe Justin would, because he felt like I really saved him the first night. And then after I voted, I came down, I found the idol in the I don't know, in the tribal council area. So I had already voted and found it, which is why Justin only changed his vote afterward anyway, and I got John out. I even told Justin, had it been the other way, had I found it before, I probably would have voted him out.
That's so good to know. You should have voted Justin out, yeah. But it makes total sense,
I found it just before I had voted I was going to. But he was the only one out of the two who even seemed like they would slightly sway, so it would have been my best chance to just go with it.
Yeah, it completely makes sense. Yeah. So let's see, if you had found it like right before you voted, say, you vote Justin, and then Justin wouldn't have voted John then because he saw you find it.
Yeah.
Okay. What if you had voted Justin, and then he saw you, and then he voted John? It would have been a tie, John and Justin. They wouldn't be able to vote, and you would be the only vote. And you'd
taken out Justin.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Why? Because of the physical threat that he posed?
Yeah, because he was like a physical threat, and then he was pretty smart too. In the end, I actually was able to talk to him, and I probably would have worked with him, but I just never got like a good opportunity because everyone always stayed in the area. We never got to sneak off and talk. Yeah. And so I kind of wish that was like the only regret I think I had is actually I would have swapped and worked with Justin.
Did he seem open to working with other people from your tribe?
He was. It's just that at that point the numbers weren't in his favor, and so I was like, if I swapped, I still wouldn't have numbers anyway, because we already took out like 2 of their people now. So. But he was open to it. It's just because he realized that it was just his team was gonna keep dwindling. Yeah.
Okay. So that's your major regret so far is not being able. But it wasn't your fault. You didn't all have great opportunities to talk like that.
I wish we would have been able to like do some weird roulette where you got to talk alone with people and no one could tell, and it was like forced.
Ooh, what is this? Tell me. Wait, explain this idea. I like this. Tell me more.
I'm just thinking if they really separated everybody out and almost did like a roulette of like forcing everyone to move, you would never know who's plotting with who, and everyone would have a chance to talk to each other. So.
Like split people into groups of 2 or 3 or 4 and force them all in separate areas for 5 minutes or something?
Yeah, or like...
And then rotate?
And then swap, and then like kind of as like a forced talk time. So that way no one would ever really know who they just saw you walk off and talk to. And
this is genius. Yeah.
You would have talked to everybody. You would have had to been able to make sure that the last person you talked to and this other person you talked to were still in like a solid 3, but... you have a better chance to hide it from everybody.
Yeah, this is great. I'm going to tell Liza about this because that kind of thing is perfect for such a very short period game.
Yeah, almost like speed dating.
Yes.
Like you have the chance to plan. I think that would have helped a lot because I think I would have been able to work with Justin and Toby that way.
Yeah, speed alliances.
I would have walked off with them with already everyone thought I was teamed up with Justin. If I talked to him at all, I would have been voted out sooner.
Right, that's true, yeah. So were you aware of that? Did people let you know that they thought you and Justin were working together? Once the merge happened?
Yes, because he was a Marine and I was. They thought that we knew each other already and that we had like worked together before, and that's why I saved him. And I was like, no, really, like he was the only one who was going to sway. But it's just that I kept happening to like make it out, and then it also was the 2 Marines at the end, so they were like, I'm pretty sure they're working together.
It was highly suspicious, but through no fault of yours. Yeah.
I knew it. The moment we both were like, he was saying that too. He's like, we're both going to look really bad to our teams now.
Yeah.
And then he told me, I think he told me, he was like, yeah, I regret taking you.
Okay, let's talk about the merge, because at the merge feast, something else crazy happens, because you are apparently the queen of immunity idols.
That one was awkward because everybody saw. And so I think that's my biggest regret, is because I was going to So I was just passing out bands because they were in the center, and I picked one up and it was heavy, and I should have just thrown it to him because it was gonna go to Justin was the next one. But I like had this pause, and I was like, damn it, everyone's gonna know if it's heavy and he grabs it that I'm like with him.
Oh.
So I just grabbed a different one and passed it to him. But then everyone who was by me saw that I got the idol from it.
Yeah, because you took off the one you had already unwrapped for yourself. Yeah, I think that was key. So in that, yeah.
I was like, I didn't know what to do. I already like had one, and I was like, well, I can't throw it to Justin now because if it like makes the noise with the beads on the bone, they were gonna hear it. And I was like, ugh.
To be fair, there were a lot of people sitting in that circle with you, and only 2 people noticed.
Yeah, I think it was Jazzy for sure, which didn't help me.
I know.
And I think Becky, I don't remember who was beside me. And then I thought someone else had noticed when I had walked off.
Oh. So. I know that because I was watching that whole thing. I saw you get it, and I was like, oh my God. And then you were trying to be so sly, putting it back in. I was like, okay, she's doing a good job here. But Jasmine was staring at you the entire time, just glaring at you. And I was
because
like, no.
She already had looked in there and didn't
She had,
feel it.
yeah.
So as soon as I put it back, she's like, damn it, I missed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I think that also did not work in my favor of them already not trusting me and then wanting me out and then me finding it again.
Mm-hmm. So. In that split second where you thought about just handing it to Justin, would you have been like given him a look or something as you handed it to him? Like what would you have done there?
I think he would have just known when he felt it.
But
it's heavier.
Okay.
Because we were giving each other sly looks the whole time. Even the one time he totally misinterpreted it. It was just I could never find an opening to work with him.
Mm-hmm. But if you had given him the idol, I guess you could have
made an opening. Yeah.
Yeah, like been more. It would have been more urgent for you.
Made it that their whole team and I could have voted for one person on our team.
Yes.
But then I never got a chance to talk to anybody else except for Justin on that team. So it could have just been that I would have been next to.
Yeah. Who would you have targeted if that crazy scenario did end up happening?
Probably Jazzy.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So she was probably the biggest social threat. Well, there were so many on that tribe. Cameron, Brandon.
Yeah, they probably would have been next, even though I really liked them.
Yeah.
It would have been easier to like go with, I think, Becky and Tony and.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would have been.
Yeah. So who ends up going is Emily. How did that happen?
I think it was basically they were just trying to. They knew that they had an idol somewhere on their team, and that they would have likely played it for somebody that they would have assumed we would have voted for. So we wanted to do someone that they wouldn't have protected. That way, the votes wouldn't have backfired onto our team. Mm-hmm. So we chose somebody that they wouldn't have thought we would have voted for. Yeah,
that was smart, and it worked out for you. So yeah. So what happens after that? There's it's the competition with the discs, and you have to guess who said what about people. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. Oh, that was kind of hard actually.
How did you do in that one?
Oh, I think I was like the third one kicked out to the end. Like I feel like my team tried to really focus on like the old skittered team, and then they really kind of focused on like me and some other ones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so Forrest goes out here.
Yes.
What made you guys target Forrest?
He was strong, and he was weird, but he was strong and he was kind of smart. So if it came to a physical challenge, most of our team wasn't very physical. And they still had Justin and Toby, and so they still had like 3 stronger guys, and we didn't. We had like Cameron. Yeah. So it was kind of, plus it was all individual now. It would have been, we all had a higher chance to win if they lost some strength.
Yeah. Why Forrest instead of Toby or Justin?
I don't fully remember, but I want to say it was just, if anything, he's actually like really strong. He's up there with like Justin, and I definitely put my 2 cents in to never get Justin taken out.
Because you thought maybe at some point you would be able to
Yeah.
work with him.
So
Yeah.
I always tried to not get him out. And whenever they brought up his name, I would kind of say, oh, his team's kind of already against him. But some of them were because they thought he was working with me.
So you were strategic. Don't downplay.
That was the only one. I couldn't pull it off.
Yeah.
And then he didn't believe me at any point too, because at one point I was like, no, you're good. Like, you're good. And he thought I was saying they're voting for you. So I think he played an idol and it was someone else and he thought I tricked him. And I was like, no, I was saying you're fine.
Yeah.
So like, even with him, it was like, because we couldn't individually talk together, it was like we never got to pass what we wanted.
Yeah. So much paranoia.
And it was. I don't like that.
So, okay, it looks like then that the Lombard tribe basically just takes out Skitter tribe one by one by one. It's Emily and then Forrest and then Toby and then finally Justin goes out. How did that happen?
I think that was the really long debate at the fire where
Oh,
Justin,
yeah.
it's like I believed him. I knew Jazzy was going for me, but Jazzy was trying to get me to vote for Becky because she had heard that Becky was trying to go against her, and I was trying to think she was trying to like drop the number of votes so that way they could vote for me.
Yeah,
But like, so me and her were like silently fighting across the fire. I'm not voting for her, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll vote," and I was like, "I'm not." So then she tried to change it to vote for me. But then it ended up being Justin, which I think everyone just did for like a safe call with all the confusion.
No, you know what? Becky had immunity at that tribal council because that was the one in the dark, right? Where they had to balance on logs.
I think no, like Becky on our team.
Becca.
Becca.
Okay. Oh, that's right. She was saying, no, we're voting out Becca. That was a total lie. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, no, you're not. And she was trying to get me to vote for her. And I'm like, no.
What was it that tipped you off that made you think that she was lying to you?
I mean, I knew she was trying to vote for me, like since the beginning, but I was pretty honest with her that I was trying to vote for her too. So like, it was kind of both of us being like, as soon as we get the chance, we're trying to get each other out.
Yeah.
So I just didn't trust her, but I couldn't be that bad on her bad side, or else everyone else would vote for me.
Yeah. So at this point, you still have an idol. This is now your first night as a merged tribe going back to camp. Yeah. And so you must have had some time to talk to people. What went on that night?
If I want to say, everyone just said they were going to go for Becky that night. And so half of me wanted to play the idol, but I was going to be screwed the next time anyway.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how they were really uncomfortable that both me and Jazzy had an idol, that they didn't like that both of us did.
Who said that?
It was Cameron and Brandon. And they were both saying like they're not comfortable with the fact that both of us have an idol. But they said that we'll vote for Becky this time, and I almost played my idol, but at the time I was like, if I play it, I'm for sure gone next time anyway. So it kind of was like, if I hold on to it and they don't do it and do what they said, then I have one more round in. But then I guess Jazzy talked to them. They were kind of confused too. They said that they weren't sure if they were trying to vote for me or Jazzy that round.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
So they're like, they said it like changed like 5 times, that it was either going to be me or her, and they never knew which one till like the end.
Were you there when Becca had thought they said Jazz, but they had said Jess, and your names are too similar when they're being whispered like that? Were you there when she got so angry about it? You probably didn't see any of that because you were at the...
No, because I would have left, I think.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it was very confusing for some people.
I bet, yeah.
Going back and forth because it was you and Jazzy were the main threats for some reason. Well, I think Cameron and Brandon were just as big threats as you guys.
They were just more subtle about it, and I felt like it was like they probably helped too by making it look more like it was me and Jazzy pinned against each other. So that way it just highlighted that us two.
Do you think there's anything you could have done? Like, what if you had talked to Becca and Becky? Would you have been able to pull something off?
I think if I had talk to the girls because I was just under the assumption that they were going with, like, they had like a strong alliance with Jazzy. And when I talked to them later, they never did. They just kind of voted with her, and that no one had approached them at all. And they were just kind of like there for a while. So I kind of wish I had just like approached them. I just thought the moment I had, it would like go right back to Jazzy, and then I would have been out.
Yeah, that paranoia got to you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I should have just talked to everybody, kind of thing.
There's no right answer, because if you had, then what would have happened?
Yeah. Well, if I talked to Sarah, Sarah actually knew Jazzy.
Yes.
So I had that thoughts too, because some people had played before and some people knew each other, and I was like, if I talk to the wrong one, and it's gonna come back.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been probably talk to Becca and Becky and Tony before, and then probably given the idol to Justin. Would have been what I would have done.
Wow. Yeah. If you could change things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. It would have been so different. So, okay. So you get voted out with an idol in your pocket. Very sad.
Yeah.
We were very sad. I was sitting with your mom. We were very sad.
I knew it was gonna be that time.
Yeah.
Or the next one.
Yeah.
And I was hoping it was gonna at least be the next one, because if I won, then I could have played it. Which they actually said they were trying to scare Jazzy too, so we'd both play.
That was their goal. They wanted to flush both the idols out, and then they think they might have voted Becky out. Yeah. So now you're on the jury, and you're what number are you? 1, 2, 3.
I think seventh to the end.
Fourth. So you're the fourth member of the jury, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, seventh to the end. What was that like? How did you like watching those tribal councils and not being a part of them?
It was a lot better not being part of them. It was a lot more fun not being part of them.
Yeah.
And it was kind of interesting because you miss like all of whatever the actual competition is, and then you just come back and you see who has it, which is like always interesting. And then you get to see like everything break down. You're like, what is happening? So it's a lot more fun on the jury.
Yeah, there's no paranoia on the jury, right?
No, it's like it's done.
Yeah. What else? Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. I feel like that summarizes everything. It was really quick. It was like I said, my biggest thing is I would like to have it so you could like talk to everybody, but much more discreet.
I think that's such a good idea.
Yeah, because I feel like that was like our biggest thing. We could find out who was in charge on that team pretty quickly, and they could look at who at ours, but we could also see. We were basically on the lookout for anybody from our team to talk to their team afterward. And whenever someone saw 3 people together, they would go and join the group so they couldn't talk. So, like, they would kind of, like, interrupt everything or go listen to it, and they would watch when 2 people walked off. So it would never let you have, like, the secrecy that you probably could have had.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I'm glad I did it.
Good. I know it's hard getting voted out. I think everyone got really emotional. Just about everyone.
It was gonna come.
Yeah, right.
I was pretty sure after everything, I was definitely not getting towards the end.
Yeah. How was the experience? I mean, probably not that hard for you being a Marine, but how was the experience sleeping out in the woods of Maine?
I think the worst part was ticks.
Yeah.
Just paranoid about ticks. Otherwise, it wasn't bad. We made like a nice shelter. We all had like our sleeping bags, so we were all able to sleep pretty well, I think.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I don't know if I could have handled that.
No, it was the ticks that bothered me.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I want to ask about Karen. I don't know. What do you have to say about Karen not showing up?
I guess I never really got why she didn't show up. So at first, like, we just thought.
I don't think anyone knows.
Okay. We just thought it was kind of funny. And then we were like slightly butthurt because we still had to start with a lower number. And when it came to a voting, we're like, can we vote out Karen? And they're like, no. So like we started out like a lower number tribe. And I think it gave us, we were all slightly resentful, but at the same time trying to find a humor in it. So that's why she became our mascot.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish that I had joined at that point, because it was like, if Karen doesn't show up, Taylor, you're gonna join the Lombard
That
tribe.
would have been fun.
I know, But then, and like, I just kept thinking, I was like, well, I have a blue shirt with me. Like, I could do it. But then I ended up being so glad that I didn't because it was so cold. And I would have been voted out really, really early, probably first.
Nick still would have been first.
Maybe you're right. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you thinking about doing it next time?
What?
Are you thinking about doing the next one?
I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I think I might apply, but either way, I will. Me and Becky came up with a challenge that we want them to do. So, just based on a international season of Survivor, it looks good, like a fun challenge. Yeah, but I might because I like kind of want to do the real one. I don't think I could handle it, but it would be good practice, I think.
I know, like, it made me really debate if I would want to do the first, like, the real one.
Yeah.
Because I like the challenges, I like the games, and I just don't like the lying and the deceitfulness. Like I said, I was, like, pretty forward with people. They're like, Jazzy knew I was voting for her. I told people, and, like, I was pretty forward with everything else. Except, like, I didn't not say I didn't have an idol. I just never said I had it, and I didn't lie and say I never had it. But so
would you do the real Survivor?
I think so. It's just the lying does not feel good, and the paranoia doesn't feel good. But I would probably try for it just because it's like a unique experience, and the games look fun. Yeah,
you should. You should, but I would recommend learning how to lie.
Yeah, I was like, I'll probably have to learn to lie. I think the biggest thing I got out of it would be actually talking. Like, once you get like a solid 6, look at the people that they're trying to vote out, and then honestly probably go with them.
Yeah.
I think if you just talk to the people that other people aren't talking to, they're so desperate to like make a plan. I think you'd have a more solid group than the strong one.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So I think that would be my only strategy.
So Jess and I talked for a while about grad school and about getting her some footage of her looking like a badass that she could use for a real Survivor application, which I hope she does now that there's a lot of footage out there on YouTube for her. And the topic of the headbutt between her and Forrest came up. So what happened that she's about to talk about right now is what happened was the camera guy, Nick, posted a video clip of the handball challenge where Jess and Forrest smashed their heads together. He posted that in a group chat for the cast and crew of Surviving Maine, and Forrest made some comments that Jess took issue with.
That was the one side note. Forrest made me really annoyed in the chat. He was like, I don't know, he made it sound like I was like super fragile, and he was so glad I wasn't hurt when he posted that video.
Oh my god, yeah.
Did you read the comments? I was like, okay, thanks, Forrest.
Like,
and I was like, to the record, I took you out in that.
Yes. But I rolled my eyes so hard it hurt when I saw those comments.
Me too, and I was like trying, and he kept posting it. I was like, just stop, Forrest. Yeah. And I was almost like, if you look at the footage, I clearly knock you to the side, and I still get the ball.
Oh my god!
I only ran so intensely because right before we did it, he's like, they're sending you to get it, and I was like, yeah, and he's
fuck
like,
you,
all
bro.
Right. Yeah, basically, he's like, okay, but I'm gonna get it, and I was like, well, now you're not. So.
Oh, I love it.
That's the only reason I was like, well, fine, I'm going for this.
Yeah. Good for you. Well, it was great talking to you.
You too. I appreciate it.
Yeah, there's no question in my mind that Jess is way tougher than Forrest. So that was my interview with Jess. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time talking with her, and I really think that idea for the speed dating in Surviving Maine, I really hope happens next season. And I will be back here next week with an interview with the 5th member of the jury. So stay tuned for that and episode 12 of Surviving Maine Wednesday at 7 Eastern on YouTube.